Let's see. Sorry about the frogs in the background. Sorry, this is Rolly. This is my chocolate lab. She might run around, hopefully not hit the camera. I didn't initially intend to shoot this video, so I'm already a couple days into this experiment. But let me give you some quick background information. I'm 45. Just recently turned 45. I've been climbing for about a year and a half. Regularly, about at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I've been doing max hangings for based on David McLeod's video, 2 to 3 times a week, typically. Now, the last few months have been more intermittent because I had a hand injury and I've just been sick. You know, it's just been a rough year. So it's 2025, it's May. My goal at the end of this year is to be very solidly into the 512 range. Currently, I climb pretty solidly 511s and project 512s, mostly unsuccessfully, but I project them, I work on them. I'd like to get very solidly 512s into 513s towards the end of this year. The other thing I've been doing more is bouldering, which I haven't done really much before. I'm very solidly V4. I do pretty well V5s, and then you know, if it's in my strengths, I will usually I can flash V5s occasionally. Sometimes I work through them a couple times, and then there's sometimes I project them. V6s I haven't really had much luck. I started a couple and didn't get very far. A lot of it's my strength, and then I get sore as well. My goal with this video is just kind of give somebody like me some background, see how it worked for me. Before I saw Emil's video, I thought to myself, like, really, I get sore in my hands. I think if I just hang more often, but without a lot of weight, it would probably help with the soreness in my hands. So I tried that once. You know, I just did as long as I could. I just basically would hang on a 23 mil and then hold, or a 14 mil hold, depending, for as long as I can. And it wasn't very long. I mean, 10, 15 seconds maybe. And then just tried a couple reps of that, you know, just like, I figured that would just help my hands just get used to hanging, you know, if I do it more frequently. Then I saw, so I did that once. Then I saw Emil's video, and I was like, that's very interesting. Then I saw Hooper's video, basically poo-pooing all of that. And then I saw Emil shot recently, about 5 months ago, a video basically talking to the scientist who initially did the paper that he based his workout on, and showing that there was a gain if you do the non-weighted hangs plus, and you're also doing max hangs as well, kind of an intermix of both. That's what I intend to do over the next month, and then show you guys my results. So my goal is to see an increase in, well, one is finger strength. Even over I've done this for the last couple days, I'm already noticing an improvement. So at the moment, and again, I would it's my results individually, but it seems like it's backed up by a few other people. I would suggest at least trying it. I don't think there's any harm, and you may find that your fingers are feel better just by alone, just from doing this workout. Currently where I'm at is I can do a max hang for like a 23 millimeter edge, 20 to 23 I think, on my board is about 35 pounds at the moment. I've gotten up to, in the past, on a different board, 45 or 47 pounds. I had some hand injuries and some illness, so I've lost a little bit of strength, but I'm coming back pretty quick. Currently now I'm at 35 pounds, and again, that's the 5-finger open hand and the 3-finger drag. The half crimp, I'm only at 15 pounds. I can only max hang, that's 10 seconds with 15 pounds, and this hold kills me. Like, it gets like really sore. I can barely get my pinky finger on when I'm doing a half crimp grip. On like a 14 millimeter. That's on a 14 millimeter edge, not a 23 millimeter edge. So I'm curious to see how that's going to improve. So my intention is to continue to try to do 2 to 3 days max hang every day, twice a day. Do the no weighted hangs. So Monday or mornings and evenings. If I do a max weight hang in the evening, which is when I typically do it, I won't do a non-weighted hang. I'll just do the max weight hang, and then climb still at least once a week. Maybe a second climb at lunchtime on once a week as well. So that's my routine. I guess we'll find out what happens. I'm very curious to see the results, and hopefully you guys find it useful. And
many unbearable hours later.
All right, so months gone by, I've learned a few things. I changed a little bit of the routine, and that I'll explain why. Nothing super crazy different. I think I understand how it works better than what maybe has been explained in the past, and then I'll review my results after a month. So first, I just want to talk about how it works. Now, I think if you watch the video, Emil's video, it's a little I wouldn't say deceptive. I don't think it was complete. Like, he made some assumptions or didn't explain fully what was going on. So it made it sound like that if you're just doing these like no weight hangs twice a day for 10 minutes, you're going to see these huge increases in all like your strength, and you start doing one-handed pull-ups. I don't know. You can do all this amazing stuff. Now, I think Hoover, who also talked about this video, was saying like this doesn't make any sense because like you're not going to get strength because that doesn't build strength. You might get these benefits. And this is the video that he talked about it in it. And I think I understand now what was missing. So what Emil missed he didn't talk about what he was doing in addition to this no weight hang. He wasn't just, if he's a professional climber, which I guess he is. I haven't honestly looked him up at all. I know he's a strong climber. He's probably doing like a lot of climbing, a lot of workouts, beyond just the hang. So what he's gaining is not just by this no weight hang. He's also doing additional workouts on top of that. And then he came back later, about 6 months ago or so, 6 or 7 months ago, this video talking about how there's a study done, a follow-up study in which they checked people who were just doing the no weight hang, people who were doing just workouts, and then people who were doing the no weight hang plus working out. I forget all the specifics. And the people who were doing the no weight hang plus the additional workout saw a bigger increase in their strength. And that makes a lot of sense, honestly. So it's not just doing the no weight hang. If you're just doing the no weight hang, you're not going to see a huge improvement, I don't think. You may see an improvement, but it may not be gigantic. And it may be in another area, and I'll explain that in a second. So let me briefly explain the slight change that I made to my routine. So when I initially was doing the no weight hang, all I was doing was the no weight half crimp grip for 10 minutes, basically. So it was like 10 seconds every minute or so. So it was still 100 seconds of no weight hang, but it's just the half crimp grip. And what I was noticing is that when I was doing the max hang stuff, my open hand, like 5-finger or 3-finger drag, was getting sore. And so what I ended up doing is actually increasing the amount of no weight hanging that I was doing, still over a 10-minute period. But what I was doing 10 seconds half crimp grip, then I'd take a 20-second rest, and then 10 seconds of like an open-handed no weight hang for 10 seconds. So I was doing basically 20 seconds for every minute, so I doubled it. And then so for the first 5 minutes I would just alternate between those two, and then the last 5 minutes I would alternate between different finger grip types. So, and it just depended on how it felt. So now I wasn't doing anything like scientific, like I wasn't on a scale like Emil shows and all that stuff. I'm just feeling my fingers. How do they feel? I put the weight on it until it felt like I was putting some stressor on them, but not so too much. And then basically I just determined like which fingers felt like they were being worked more than others, and then I just kind of like try to work some of the other ones that felt like they weren't being worked. So I'm like I might do a 3-finger drag, 2-finger drag, 2-finger middle, two fronts, just alternate between those instead of doing just the 5-finger open hand. And the same thing with the half crimp grip. I would do I would like maybe do 3 fingers or maybe 2 fingers, you know, just kind of alternate it a little bit just to give it a little bit, you know, more of a workout, targeting fingers that felt like they weren't getting worked as much. Sorry, my dog's right here and she just needs some loving. So that's the change I made to the routine, and it helped a lot in that I felt like more consistent across the different grip types when originally, like I said, I was just doing the half crimp grip. So that would be my suggestion to you. Again, also I was just not doing it weighted, I was just doing whatever felt good, and I would kind of ease into a little bit more sometimes, especially in the mornings. I might, you know, hang with a little less force at first and then increase it a little bit more as my fingers kind of warmed up. So just kind of a quick recap of where I was a month ago to where I am now, and what improvements I have seen or what my observations are. So I started off doing the Dave McLeod's max hangboard workout thing. Is a 30-minute workout routine. I still do that, and I'm doing it approximately 3 days a week. You know, sometimes I'd skip a day if things come up. For those who don't know, the Dave McLeod workout routine, just to give you a quick rundown, is 3 reps or 3 sets. You do 3 open hang, the open hand or chisel grip, 3 half crimp grip, and then 3 finger drag. All for 10 seconds each, you know, whatever max weight. So at the beginning, I was doing 35 pounds. And at the end, I was at 47 and a half. So that's like a 35% increase in weight or so. The half crimp grip, I started off at 15 pounds. At the end of the month, I was at 25 pounds. So that's a 66% increase. The 3 finger drag was almost the exact same as the open hand. So that started off at 35 pounds, ended at 47 and a half pounds. Now that increase, you know, was great. I definitely noticed it. So has that improved my climbing? Yes, it has. The thing I've really noticed was an increase in endurance. Just the amount of climbing I could do had significantly improved. The amount of stiffness in my hands significantly improved. Like, it's almost like you're warming up all the time, like with the workout. Notice just an actual strength difference on the wall. So like, for instance, I was able to climb a couple V5s that I had struggled with before. Now luckily they're still set. I was able to climb them later, and they were significantly easier. Just the strength and power, and some of it was like even like stuff I wasn't expecting. Like, it was just a pinch hold, like a giant pinch hold, and I was able to actually hold on with my left hand, which I couldn't do previously. So it was kind of amazing, and I kind of just ended up powering through that more than using good technique. I just ended up powering through that particular route. The other improvement I saw was on my 512 project that I was working on, the crux. I was working that section of it, and I was able to try that like 3 or 4 times, no, 5 or 6 times, like the different moves coming off. I finally figured out the move sequence that I needed, got to the next set of moves. I fell on those like 3 or 4 times, climbed through, you know, and then climbed through that, got through that, started the rest of the route, and was just like, you know, I'm just gonna rest right now, I'm done. I wouldn't have been able to do that before. Like, I would have tried the crux a couple times and just been like, I would have been spent. So a huge improvement there. Not only that, but I got down, rested for a bit, and was able to climb a 511, which was completely unheard of for me. So I'm seeing pretty good massive increases. I basically, so as far as my personal takeaway, I'm going to continue this routine pretty much indefinitely while I'm climbing. I think it really helps with hands, just with the endurance, with you know, just hoping reduce tendon injury. So if you just feel out, you know, just like, it's almost like you're warming up, like I said, all the time. And also continuing with the max hangs. I'm going to keep going, and hopefully in another month I want to give you another update. Yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. You know, subscribe for more. I am just a eccentric channel, so I'm gonna have climbing stuff, I'm gonna have car stuff. I'm gonna have horse stuff, you know, so whatever. I appreciate the subscription, you know, if you subscribe. It does help me out. It does motivate me to make more stuff. If you have questions, you know, for me, like what I do, how I do, like any other training questions or climbing stuff, you know, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them. All right, thanks. Bye.